Hi everybody, Bula Fiji, Bula world. How are you all this evening, this afternoon? This is Fred coming to you again from the shores of beautiful Nandi here in Fiji, Wailoaloa. And as I misinterpreted yesterday, it simply means black water as opposed to black sand. So I'd just like to give you a really nice cool view of this afternoon. It's a little bit overcast, I'll say, but that's Vunda. That's the whole Vunda area. And then of course, beautiful sunset that has just happened. And that's Denarau on that other side. And of course, such a beautiful place to come down and, you know, have a walk. The sound of the waves is really so soothing to the mind and so forth. And in this video I'd like to review a book that I'm going through again, and it's been really helping me. So I've titled this video how Robert Kiyosaki's book Rich Dad Poor Dad has helped me fight the coronavirus. Let me just get through this little portion here. But hi Jack, how are you? So thanks for hopping on, guys. Stick around if you feel it's worth your while. But otherwise, my topic today is how Robert Kiyosaki's book titled Rich Dad Poor Dad helped me fight the coronavirus. So I'll tell you a little bit of a story that really hit home for me. And I'm just crossing through this little puddle of an area. Wow, the tide's coming in. Such a beautiful spot. I'm just reminded about this place, you know, a few times I've come down here. And hey Elijah, how are you, bro? We've had some great times down here. I remember a little group of ours, we used to call ourselves the I forget what we call. Still we call ourselves many things, but we used to make the sound of we used to go beep beep. That was our code for you know, coming down here and having a few beers. But of course, coming back to my topic today, and that's how Robert Kiyosaki's book Rich Dad Poor Dad has helped me fight the coronavirus. So I'll get straight into it, guys. A little bit about my story, because I think it really emphasizes that you know, how it has helped me fight the coronavirus. Well, I never, thank God, I didn't get infected, or none of my family did. Hi guys. And but to all of the families out there, I'm so glad you guys have made it through, especially here in Fiji, around the world. But how has that book, Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, helped me fight the coronavirus? I came across that book almost 6 years ago, and one of my friends, he introduced me to that book, and ever since then, or even before then, I've always been, you know, kind of curious about, you know, how to get out of, you know, poverty, or, you know, how to stop living from paycheck to paycheck. And when I came across that book, it really helped my mindset. It really helped me really believe that if I did get into entrepreneurship in some way, that it required a change of mindset. Now, reading something, getting some insight on something, and putting it into practice is totally different. And so I jumped into entrepreneurship, and it took me 4 long years to really see some breakthrough because for various reasons, and of course a lot of them had to do with my mindset. And yeah, man, I took my family through a lot of heartache, because I was pursuing this dream, and of course it, had its strategic ways of doing it and so forth. But I brought in with me, one problem I had was, thinking that I was quite smart in my job, and I thought I could bring that same smartness, so to speak, and bring it over into my business. Unfortunately, that doesn't work out very well. And that, if you look around you as well, you will notice that a lot of people with talent, whether it's in a restaurant or, start up their own business, and it does well for a few months, not for a few years, before it collapses well within 5 years. And a lot of it has to do with our employee mindset. Now, there's nothing wrong with being an employee, because you got to start somewhere. But a lot of it has to do with the way the system has ingrained into us that to find a job, you clock in and you expect your pay to come at the end of the week. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that when you do any sort of business. And of course, it depends on the type of business as well. I mean, if you're selling candy, then of course, you can get, you can start making money. But you come to a point where you aim for that break-even point, and so forth and so forth. But I'm not going to go into that area. What I'd like to share with us here is, if you do get into some sort of entrepreneurship or pursuing your dream in the, to be your own boss and so forth, you have to change the way you think. You can't be running after money or working for money, because once that starts happening, then you'll get discouraged very, very easily. What you need to focus on, and what I've learned over especially the last month or the last 6 weeks, is to really focus on the process. And the process is all about, working on yourself, working on your patience, working on your work ethic, working on preparing your shop, so to speak, getting the advertising in order, making sure your product is well stocked, so to speak, that it's presented well. Because once that starts happening, and then of course you go into advertising and so forth, then you start increasing a bit of traffic. And you still have to be patient, because you can't be like hassling your customers, just because they show a bit of interest. You start, you ever come across those times when you go into those shops where the salesperson is just in your face? So you have to be very, very careful about how you look after your customers, because when you go into entrepreneurship, I believe it's all about solving problems. When you find people's problems, you can offer them a solution. And then of course you find ways to monetize that. But that's the whole point of, that's how businesses become very successful, because they adopt that attitude. And that's what I'm now beginning to learn. And it's been a tough road, but now I've just seen the big difference between how I used to behave before. How I used to run after all my customers and or my potential customers, or I would even qualify them. I just start spamming everybody and running after them, and it was so tiring. It was really tiring. For those of you networking, I'm sure you can imagine how tiring that can be. Having to create, all sorts of pages, no engagement, typing to a non-existent audience. And so after coming through all that, and now finally ready to learn, because I'm forced to learn, I've really seen a big change in even my attitude, in the way I've been handling this whole Corona thing. While everyone was just keep on the news counting the number of people that were being infected, I couldn't be bothered with the news. I'm not bragging in any way. I'm just trying to tell you about the change of mindset. And so, yeah, I'd certainly encourage you guys, any of you who's looking into, starting your own business of whatever sort, you have to change your mindset. You can't be running after money. Do not expect to get paid at the end of the week. You have to follow the process. And to be honest with you, I thought that I was getting into business. I didn't realize that I'd be dealing with myself. And a lot of it has to do with how, like who you are as a person and the person you'd like to be. And the kind of business I'm in is, it's all about people. And so for you to be able to build an organization and lead a team, you have to be a leader. And you need to develop leadership qualities. And that's what I found that was so lacking in my life. And I'm so thankful that, I found an opportunity and a business model that allows me to do that. So with those few words, guys, I hope you might find some inspiration in it. Sorry about the lighting, but that's what this whole live is all about. But other than that, guys, thanks so much for jumping on. Hi, Eric. How are you, brother? Just give a quick shout out before I take off. Hola, Gopeta. How are you? Cheers, Jack, Elijah, and Emanoni. How are you, bro? Hi, Leonie Ann. Oh yeah, micromanaging is a challenge at times, being an employee. I know, right? And the beauty thing about this sort of business is you don't have to be managing, any grown-ass people, because everyone's in charge of their own business. So that's cool. Salesi Mbula, bro. Salesi from Vatua Road. This Mbula. And Eric, how are you, brother? Eric Chang, man. Eric Chang, one of my top closers, man. Love you, Eric. And my uncle all the way in Canada, Mbula Uncle Pataya. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for hopping on here. Hope you guys have a fantastic evening and see you in the next videos.